This here's my low volume voice, 'cause I'm on a boat. Well, you clicked on the video, you read the title, you might feel a way about it, so let's rip off the band-aid. I'm half Filipino, half white, which makes me about as ethnic as this f***ing guy.
You know what the cool thing about it in America is? Free speech isn't the speech you like. Nice stuff's not what needs to be protected. It's the stuff that you hate that needs the protection, so that somebody, like the government or you, doesn't get to decide what everybody else gets to hear.
I don't seek to claim stakes in this topic beyond what is expected of me. So consider this me knocking. A term I first heard used by FD Signifier basically amounts to knowing your place as an ally. I can learn, I can observe, I can synthesize, but it ain't my life, and it ain't my struggle. That said, it is part of our struggle on an intersectional level. And as this coming clown car, administration revs up for yet another lap around our neighborhood, it's important for all of us with any platform whatsoever to do what we can and elevate voices that are obscured by current culture and policy. God, I hope this gets compressed properly.
And compressed properly it was, but that was over a week ago. Now I'm back in my office, dropping what was left of the audio that I did record recommending various YouTubers. Here they are on screen now. But I need to condense this and just make a comp celebrating Black history. As for me, I'm finally going to start Richard Pryor's autobio that he put out, thus concluding a trilogy of sorts that includes Carlin and Bruce. Let's roll the f***ing shorts. That disco classic that'll never not be a bop happens to be the theme song for one of the most slept-on comedies of the 1970s. I knew it existed, I knew Rich and George were in it, and that was about it. Little did I know I was missing out on a free-flowing time capsule featuring non-stop radio jams, interlocking stories, and a hyper-diverse lineup of stiffs, clowns, and wannabes. The amount of social vectors they touch on is impressive for the time, from poverty and dating to gender identity and criminal reform, as well as Pryor's show-stopping turn as a pimp of the Lord. All of these personalities clash in well-written, very entertaining scenes, including what I now believe to be one of the sickest burns in all of cinema.
Would you please get out of my face, you sorry-looking f***? Who you calling sorry-looking? Can't you all see that she ain't funny? She's just another poor example of how the system has of destroying our men.
Honey, I am more man than you'll ever be, and more woman than you'll ever get.
Good stuff.
Muhammad Ali. It's a nice musical name. Muhammad Ali. He's back at work again. He's being allowed to work once again, Muhammad Ali. He wasn't for a while, as you know. For about 3.5 years, they didn't let him work. Of course, he had an unusual job, beating people up. It's a strange calling, you know. But it's one you're entitled to. Government didn't see it that way. Government wanted him to change jobs. Government wanted him to kill people. He said, no, that's where I draw the line. I'll beat him up, but I don't want to kill him. And the government said, well, if you won't kill him, we won't let you beat him up. It was a spiteful move, you know, all because he didn't want to go to Vietnam. And now, of course, we're leaving Vietnam. We're leaving through Laos, Cambodia, and Thailand. It's the overland route. It's the long way out.
Anybody got them mothers that would hit you with a shoe and can be doing 3 different things? Be on the phone with my grandmother and be cooking with this hand, have the phone like this and be saying, yeah, mama, hold on a second. Bad.
We got robbed, and this how I know I ain't shit. They took everything but the merch, nigga.
The current way to find your new favorite comedian is through Reels, Shorts, and TikToks, which is exactly how I found Niles Abston. The man's got dozens of popular bits going around about race relations, civil rights, and his upbringing in Mississippi, lifted straight from his 2 rock-solid free-to-watch specials on his YouTube channel. The first was a gig shot in a living room, which I came to find out is actually a popular spot in LA for up-and-coming comics. The second was produced in a proper club setting, but is also opened by an animated short that showcases his offstage talent and sensibilities. The depth of which can be seen in a dope callback to Gil Scott-Heron, which I don't plan to spoil. Niles has a laid-back stage presence that gives his act a mellow, flexible flow, and I highly recommend it to people looking for some fresh comedy. Go check him out.
You gotta be 5'9" to donate sperm. 5'9". I walk up to there thinking I'm about to make a quick $600. Lady turns me away like I'm Gary Coleman at Six Flags. This shit was...
People don't hate each other. and people start talking to each other, and then they start talking to each other, they find out who's the problem.
Which is?
Greedy people. And that separates people. So they keep people separated, and that keeps them from thinking about the real problem. That's as simple as I see it. Probably it's not that simple, but...
How long is it going to take before guys who think like you, and I say guys who think like me, people who don't want to be oppressing any minority, whatever it is, sexual, whatever minority, really get into positions of power and can change things?
You can't get in a position of power, it seems, if you think like that. It seems that the only time you get in a position of power is if you're like the people that are in power. People that get to become executives become like the people that were already executives.
I don't know, maybe...
They go in with good intentions, but it eats them up. It's like a cesspool, you know, it just gets on you and it starts
eating. The system levels them.
Make some noise for the richest man in the world. Now, you notice one thing? All those people are booing. You have terrible seats. I am your ally.
Judas in The Black Messiah is there to remind you that the only way to get the West to give a shit about someone is to reference a Jew with a Spanish name painted as a white savior in a brown nation. All to convince someone out there that the murder of a 21-year-old activist might have been a really bad thing. His affiliations make this murky, of course, as he was part of an armed gang of militants who'd host unnerving meetings and rallies without having the decency to wear a badge. Now, if your gut reaction to this account that's been all but confirmed by the FBI, along with myriad other threats to our way of life, is to recite the flaccid creed of anti-intellectualism that is, there's bad apples on both sides, just pop in a copy of your favorite reactionary propaganda and return to your precious fantasy world where liberty somehow means pledging allegiance, valiant demigods die in slow motion, and all that stuff that may or may not have actually been as glorious and triumphant as it was made out to be. Was. Or alternatively, we stop pretending that the first day of training involves your instructor saying, "Remember, private, question everything, including me. Now tell me your favorite color." Anyway, the movie slaps. Have a nice f***ing Thanksgiving.